Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of the Professor's Picks, alongside the professor himself, Mr. Ken Golden, in the house. What's going on, man?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. Doing all right.
Got a lot of stuff.
Got a lot of stuff for this Friday. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So the hits keep coming. I don't know where I'm getting this stuff from, but and I have stuff coming from England for next week, Germany for next week. Yeah. There was no let up this summer.
Here, there, and everywhere. They're coming in, right?
Yeah. So eventually we're going to have a week where you and I are just going to be looking at each other, and I'm going to hold up a CD.
That's all I got.
Yeah. But yeah. No.
That day will come. We still have the end of Q4 to come. So
yeah. Yeah. But it's cool. So let's start with the pre-orders this week. We got one pre-order. And for us, this is a big title. It's the new metal album from Devin Townsend. It's called Power Nerd. And leave it to Devin, right? I actually kind of like this cover. I think it's kind of subtle. I like it. So it comes in a variety of editions. We got the regular CD. We have the 2 CD version, which has I should know that, but it has all kinds of. I think it may have high res or bonus tracks. I don't know. You'll go to the website, you'll pre-order it, you'll see. We've got the art book, the 3-disc art book edition. We got black vinyl, single album, by the way.
Okay.
White vinyl and very limited dark green vinyl. So they are only making 300 dark green for the world, and I have a quantity reserved for us, because we're special. So I'm looking forward to it. We do very well with Devin's releases, and I have to say, all of his fans are a pleasure to deal with. They're the nicest, appreciative people we ever have to deal with. So
it's good to hear.
Yeah, I think that may be because all the other distributors, like in Europe and whatever, don't treat them so well, so they come to us, and we appreciate it. So we always make sure they're taken care of. All right, going to get to the. There's no great restocks this week, nothing special. So I'm going to just get right into the regular CDs that we have. So please, I beg you, ignore the cover.
It's terrible.
It's just horrible. But I've listened through it twice. Got it yesterday. I've listened to it twice. This is the best thing John Anderson has done since going for the One. It's really, really good. There are parts, I'm not going to tell you there are some parts, but overall, this is really good. And there are parts here where it sounds so much like Yes. It's scary. Chris Clark playing keyboards. He's great. I saw him in Brand X. He's phenomenal. I think is it Richie Castellano that plays is he the bass player?
Yeah, he plays bass. Yeah.
Well, he's Chris Squire on this album.
Richie's just a great overall musician. He can play everything.
There's some nice. There's a 16-minute track. There's one that's close to 10 minutes called "Counties and Countries," where Clark. He's doing Rick Wakeman. He's going crazy. A lot of organ on this album. I'm not sure that I heard much Mellotron or any. A lot of synthesizer stuff. Great guitar work. There are parts here. Pete, it sounds so much like Yes, like good vintage Yes. Please ignore the cover. Make believe that there's a better cover coming in the mail. But it's god awful. But the record is really, really good. As I said, my expectations were so low for this when I saw what it looked like and what John's previous albums were. But he's got a great band with him. These guys play their dicks off, and John sounds great. It's really, really good. Got to believe me. It's really good.
Looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah. All right. Next. Dark Tranquility, End Time Signals. This is the limited edition. Comes in an O card. I don't know shit about Dark Tranquility. Swedish death metal, right?
Yeah, melodic death metal. Yeah.
Not my thing. But some customers asked us if we would bring it in, so their wish is my command. So there we go. We got new Dark Tranquility, which I think actually streamed last week. So before I show you the next group of CDs, I got to tell you that a lot of this week's releases are Chad Hutchinson's fault, because Chad went to Iceland and he's developed like some neurotic fixation on Icelandic music. And when he was there, he picked up 2 CDs by this band Eldberg. Okay, so
cover. Jeez.
Yeah, I own these albums. And when he's been ranting about Eldberg, and I'm like, yeah, they're a really good band. And I realized he's talking about the CDs, and I didn't realize that they had ever come out on CD. So I looked, and I did a little 2-second research to see that they came out on Mylodon Records out of Chile. And I know the owner of Mylodon. I've been dealing with him for many years. And I decided to not just bring in the Eldberg CDs, but to bring in a bunch of other CDs. So you'll notice as we go through the new releases, there's a bunch of Chilean releases. Okay, so Eldberg. Eldberg made 2 fabulous albums, self-titled and Par Our Heimer Hugens. My Icelandic, you can tell, is perfect. Great retro prog. The first album came out in 2011. Second album, they took them 4 years, came out in 2015. Second album, slightly better than the first one. They're both really good. A lot of Hammond organ. Warning, vocals are in Icelandic. So, but I got to tell you, if these guys had a time machine and they sang in English, these albums would have been on Vertigo. I mean, really, they're hot stuff. And I don't care that these were like 15 years old or what have you. You know, I put them up on the site and people are jumping on them. So hopefully these will both be on the website when this airs. If not, I'm gonna do a restock with Mylodon. So if you don't see them, sit tight. We'll get more. Next, Eloy Destination. This was the 1992 album. Been out of print on CD for a long time. This was the one that came out after Ra. Not bad. It's basically Frank Bornemann, Michael Gerlach, the keyboard player that he hooked up with for Ra. Klaus Peter Matzoil, the old bass player from, you know, Time to Turn, Colors, what have you, all the classic stuff. He's back on some of the album. There's all kinds of people playing on it. Lenny McDowell playing flute. So it's an Eloy album. Is it the best Eloy album? It's not the best Eloy album, but it's fine. It's an Eloy album. So any Eloy album, with exception of Codename Wild Geese, is okay with me. Did you hear that one?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Eloy without Frank.
Yeah.
All right, I'll keep going. Espresso. This is one of the ones from Chile. They're an instrumental quartet, and they kind of have one foot in the fusion camp and the other foot in the prog rock world. Guitarist really, like, this guy gets his rocks off, and then the music gets kind of crunchy, moves into King Crimson territory. It's very nice stuff. Very good. Me likey. Next. This one's great. Evolution Secretos. This is just like blazing instrumental fusion quartet. It reminds me of like Return to Forever. I think you mentioned Chick Corea Electric Band. Really, really smoking Latin fusion. Good stuff. Like it. This is a magnificent album. Ryo Kawasaki Ring Toss, 1977 album that he did for the Chiaroscuro label. And if you like his Juice album, this might be up your alley. Just maybe a little touch of funk around the edges. Beautiful acoustic pieces, almost like classical, but man, the electric guitar on here, he's just killing on this album. Absolutely killing. It's one of his best. It's funny. I read this. Somebody reviewed it, and they were saying this is his prog rock album, comparing it to Magma. It's not like Magma. You know what it is? There's like, because Ryo's music touches on different themes. There's a little bit of there's also like a Latin influence, and he's got some female wordless vocals, but it's not like Magma where there's chanting. This is just ethereal voice as an instrument, and it's innocuous and it fits with the music. And man, he's a lethal player. I think one of the most underrated guitarists. I mean, he passed away some years ago, but man, he had a great body of work, especially like his 70s stuff. Great album. Ring Toss. We got a bunch of them in stock. The new one from King Crow, Hopium. So King Crow is an Italian band that I worked with for, I believe it was for 4 albums. They're now with Season of Mist. Fantastic band who started out as a prog metal band, but over the years their music migrated more into a prog rock direction. Very much influenced by Porcupine Tree, Steven Wilson. Nice long tracks, just great playing, great vocals, beautiful album. Great live band too. So remember when they came over here and they toured with Pain of Salvation. Went down to Baltimore to see him playing at a bar.
I remember that.
Yeah. So, and I like this cover. I think that came.
Cover's really cool. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, Morris, El Ser o El Ente. Morris is a one-man band. It's Chilean electronics. He's a keyboardist. He used to be in a band which is great named R.U. Kaiser. And if people know R.U. Kaiser, Ralph Ulrich Kaiser was the guy who started the Ohr label and the Pils label in Germany, and in like 1969, 1970. The Cosmic Jokers and all that. That was, but there's a Chilean prog rock band called R.U. Kaiser, and so he was the keyboard player, and he goes by the name of Morris, Morus, and it's kind of like a mix of like Vangelis and Klaus Schultz. So they keep the bio keeps talking about Berlin School electronics, and there is that component to it. But I don't really hear it as much as I do as a little more, not quite as rhythmic, very atmospheric, very cosmic. I hear more of a Vangelis thing, but the Schultz influence is definitely there, and it's quite nice. So, and by the way, I'm just passing this along to you, Pete. I've had a number of people asking when we're going to do a ranking. The Tangerine Dream albums, or doing an electronic music show. So I'm just passing it along.
I mean, I could probably do a top 10 Tangerine Dream albums. But
well,
much beyond that is probably out of my wheelhouse.
No, but it might be cool if we did like an electronic night, just like a primer, like when we did like a space rock thing. Maybe we'll get Steve on. We could talk about Schultz and different shit. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. So okay. You could veto it. It's your channel. Next, reissue Nightingale 1i 2 CD reissue. This is actually their 3rd album. It's got 25 bonus tracks, demos, live tracks, rough mixes. So their Inside Out is doing like the whole Nightingale catalog. This is at this point he kind of moved into the hard rock, AOR.
Yeah, it's like melodic hard rock, for sure.
Yeah, not my thing, but got fans. Now this is good. This one's good. Great cover. I like it. Probably AI generated, right? Paralydium, Universe Calls. They are Swedish, I believe. Prog metal. Sort of best way to sum it up. Dream Theater meets Symphony X. Good stuff. I'm not telling you it's the most original, but they're good and they do it well. And this fits into the style of prog metal I like. So
as do I. They're my 2 favorite bands, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to throw, Circus Maximus in here as a pointer, I wouldn't argue with you. I like that melodic style with soloing. I'm not a huge fan of the gent guitar. I mean, it's all right in doses, but then what happens with that, to me, is all these bands, they all start to sound the same because the guitar tone is the same. I like this one. Paralydium, very good. Universe Calls. Next, Alan Parsons' Project Pyramid. This is simply remastered by Miles Showell at Abbey Road, and it has 4 unreleased tracks. Comes in a little digit-sleeve thing.
Great album.
Jaime Rosas, Icaro. He was the keyboardist in a Chilean band called Entrance. And this is really kind of nice. It's kind of bombastic. I mean, the guy's clearly has like a Keith Emerson fixation, some really wicked organ parts that sound very much like Keith. There's also some Latin influences, some more ambient passages. So it's, sort of, but it's very symphonic. The thing's very symphonic. It's all instrumental as I remember it, my pass through it. And it's quite nice. A soul healing journey through the Amazon. There you go. So very good. Very, very nice album. Simone Simmons, Vermilion, the singer from Epica.
Yep.
She co-wrote the album with Arjen Lucassen. And I'm surprised that they're not playing that up more.
I had no idea. Simon just reviewed it on our website, and he liked it quite a bit. And he threw Arjen's name out there. I was like, oh, I had no idea he was involved.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you put put a sticker on the CD? Put you got Simone's name up on top. I'll put like a little thing like featuring Arjen Lucassen.
Yeah.
So so we have that, and she's a great singer.
Yeah, she is.
I kind of like the cover. It's kind of cool. Trio, Sur America. Trio, they used to be a trio, but they're not really a trio anymore. So Trio, Chilean band, they've been around a long time. They've got a lot of albums. Now they've expanded the lineup. They may be a quartet now, but there's a lot of other people playing on it. The music, it's prog rock. There's some elements of King Crimson that pop up. Very much has Latin influences throughout. And just as I hadn't heard this band in a long time, and just so I remember, there's a lot of really fiery guitar work. There are some vocals on the album. I didn't remember them ever having vocals in the past, but there are some vocals on the album, but it's not continuous through the album. A lot of fantastic instrumentals. These guys were, at one point, I would clearly say they were like the best Chilean prog band. And it's, as I said, it's changed a little bit, but still quite tasty. This one's for you. UFO Showtime. This is live. I have two versions. I have a 2 CD, 2 DVD, and I have a Blu-ray version. This is live 2005. The lineup is Phil Mogg, Pete Way, Paul Raymond, Vinnie Moore, and Jason Bonham. I never saw UFO. You ever see UFO?
Yeah, a couple times.
With Schenker?
No, never with Schenker. I saw them a couple times with Vinnie Moore.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good live album. Like, I have the original issue of this. It's pretty good.
Oh, so is this like an old thing that?
Yeah, it's a reissue. Yeah.
Okay, shows you what I know. I
know.
Know
Cool cover though. I like the cover.
Yeah, I know the '70s albums. From the
That's the cream. Yeah.
All right, and the last regular CD we have, I think this is legitimate. Came in through legit sources. There's like virtually no info. It's called Weather Report 1983. It's live from 1983, and the write-up was like featuring some of their greatest hits or something. So I can't tell you where it's from, but as I said, I think it's like a licensed disc. I didn't bring in many because
post Jocko. That's probably with Victor Bailey on bass.
I would assume so. Yeah, I think that is with Victor Bailey. So yeah. And don't tell anybody. I hope nobody's listening to this, but I'm not a fan of Weather Report with Jocko.
Oh, well, I know lots of people who aren't. Or who prefer the earlier stuff.
Yeah, that's me. I like the earlier stuff. All right, let's run through the vinyl. John Anderson with the gatefold. Now, the next one, this is awesome. I got to talk about this for a minute. The Kama Quartet featuring Nippy Noya. So the Kama Quartet is led by Katharina Maschmeyer. And this is a very special audiophile recording. This was recorded at Bauer Studios. They have this label called Neuklang. They've been going around. They've been in existence for quite a while. I didn't realize how many releases they put out, all in this studio concert series. So this is Kama Quartet with the Dutch percussionist Nippy Noya, who's played with everybody. I think he played with Super Sister and might have played with Focus, been with everybody, right? And excuse me. So they record live in the studio, direct to 2-track, no overdubs, right? And in this beautiful studio. And this is Kama Quartet doing a jazz rock interpretation of John Coltrane's A Love Supreme. And I got a copy for myself. I put this thing on, and I'm like, holy shit, I got to bring in copies. I brought in copies. I sold out of them in a day. So I have more showing up. They'll be in stock when this airs on Friday. So fantastic. Unfortunately, there's no CD version of it, but it's like a holographic recording, very three-dimensional. This is one of those albums you want to like shut the lights and just sit back and just soak it in. It's great. And Nippy's playing is great. Good old Nippy. So, all right, that's that. Another great one, Michel Moulini, Chrysalide. This is a one-man band, as I remember it, kind of like Ashra Temple, Michel Gotching, Manuel Gotching, doing inventions for electric guitar. So it's very spacey. This was on Musea's coming soon release list. Oh, it's got to be 25, 30 years. They never did it. And this is legit. I guess with his cooperation or the cooperation of the state, they make a point of saying from the original analog master tapes. And there's actually a bonus track. And this is a great, beautiful album. And then we have Nightingale. And then we have Simone Simmons, and Simone is on clear vinyl. And that's what I got this week.
A lot of stuff.
If you have a turntable, that Kama Quartet, man, that's a buy or die album. And if you have a CD player, that John Anderson album, that's going to shock you.
I'm ready to be shocked. I don't know. I mean, I saw John with Anthony like what, year and a half, 2 years ago. God, is it 2 years already? Might be. And he was amazing. He still sounds great. You know, he had the kids playing with him, and I know how how great the band geeks are. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that it's really good.
Yeah, I mean these are professional players, and they nail it. Yeah. You know, they clearly go for the sound, and they get it. I mean, you know, these are guys who can play. You know, they could play the Revealing Science of God and Close to the Edge, and you know, they can play Gates of Delirium and nail it and sound just like vintage Yes. There's no reason they can't replicate the sound on this album, and then they do. So. Well,
it's just, you know, I think that it's just kind of cool that I haven't heard it yet, but I'll take your word for it. A couple people I talked to have heard it, that, you know, it sounds like vintage Yes. And meanwhile, you got Yes can't come up with new original material. It sounds like vintage Yes.
So what we got to do is we got to switch covers.
Yeah.
They get the nice Roger Dean cover and the shitty music. We gotta do a swap. So, you know, just this album is Roger Dean worthy, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, maybe he's just working with Yes and not working with John, because I don't think he's done anything with John solo. And
I don't think he ever did.
I don't think so. Yeah.
No, maybe they don't vibe. I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, anyway, the cover is pretty terrible.
Here's what I know: you're gonna buy this album and you're gonna shit yourself.
Hey, I'm ready to be pleasantly surprised. That's a good thing. Cool. So we'll have the entire list posted down in the comments below, as always, and go to lasercd.com to go check these out. And happy shopping, everybody. And remember, if there's something that Ken mentioned on the show today and you don't see on the website, could be he's just out of it and he's bringing a lot of this stuff back in. So
yes,
just be patient, I guess. So cool.
Yeah. Be patient.
All right. Till next week, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together. all the damn time coming up here on the channel. We've got the UK Connection coming up tomorrow. We're each going to be talking about 5 really weird albums that we have in our collections that most people would stop and say, why the hell do you own that? Well, we're gonna show them and talk about them. So that's coming up. The weird shit in our collection. And then on Sunday, I will be ranking the albums of East Coast thrash metal legends Anthrax. So that's happening on Sunday. So till then, I am Pete Pardo for Ken Golden. See you next week here on Professor's Picks. Till then, have a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.